Hi, welcome back to the video. Now, so happy to have you watch this particular session because this week we have an amazing guest. Finally, I got someone that to accompany me wearing a suit together. All right, someone that is so handsome, so amazing, so calm, and such a role model. Someone that I got the opportunity to get the chance to learn from, especially in the context of not just on physical, but also a lot about mental. Over here, we have a very great individual by name of Bong. Originally from Miri,
East Malaysia.
East Malaysia, and he's in KL because he's running amazing programs for adults, for parents, and for entrepreneurs, for people to actually unleash themselves to be the very best that they can be. And this particular week, we are very, very fortunate to actually get Luke on interview because Luke possesses a very powerful set of skills that's helped him and numerous amount of families and parents be able to be amazing family and parents. And more importantly, becoming effective nurturing parents while taking care of their own health mentally as well. So if I can put it in a certain way, rather than going through the stress of vomiting blood to do what you need to do for your kids, you actually don't need that. You actually can actually have a relaxing, fun, and happy time to the point that you're able to communicate with your child, where the child is the one that's actively doing what they need to do, and parents feel happy, not stressed. So today we want to get the secret out of you.
Okay.
Before that, please give a short introduction about what you do and maybe what are some of the problems that you noticed so far with parenting?
Okay. Firstly, thanks to Webster for having me here. All right, and that is such a tall hat that he has given me to fill.
I'm not lying.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Luke Bong. I'm from East Malaysia. I'm the first accredited NLP trainer in East Malaysia. Basically, what is NLP? NLP is practical psychology. So I always tell people that we are born with and then we are programmed unconsciously.
Very true.
Yeah, and the first people who program us are our parents. Okay, and as a result, I meet a lot of adults who go through trauma. They have got things that are holding them back. There are a lot of painful memories from the past and all that. And basically what I do is I help people to very quickly snap out of it, make transformation, make programming, change their programming in their mind, and it literally changed their life. Okay, and that's what I do. So I work with all types of people. I work with entrepreneurs, with business owners, with parents, with singles. So in other words, it's like, put it this way: if you have psychology, I can work with you, right?
Which is powerful because many of times people think certain issues can only be solved by a selective set of skills. But what they don't realize is there are certain set of skills that actually is a puzzle that can be fit into all. I know there is no such thing as like one tablet that fixes everything.
That's right.
But there is strategies that can be utilized foundationally for everything. And NLP is a very specific branch of the psychology family that focuses not just on the studying of the habits and behaviors, but more importantly about knowing where it's an issue and fixing it from there. One of the big problems a lot of people talk about is they complain to me about certain things. They talk about their child not being motivated, their child is not hungry enough, not responsible enough, they're not interested, this and that and this and that. And most of the time when I actually listen to all this and I ask them more questions, I realize that's not the real problem. I realize those are usually the symptoms. And when we go deep down, because when in NLP we are also trained to ask coaching style questions, where the objective is not to actually make anyone feel bad or good or whatever, but it's more to like dig out information so it can be clearer for everyone. Because when there's clarity, you can fix it. And what happened is when we coach individuals, we tend to realize that there is a root issue that needs to be solved, and most of the time these issues are not something that was purposely planted. It was not intentional. It is something that just happened over time. And because we didn't know about it, we're not aware about it, it becomes a needle that harms us.
That thorn that is like stuck there. I always tell people that the unconscious programming that we have, especially those that affect us, they are put there out of good intentions. You see, I firmly believe that when we grow up, that time when we are very vulnerable as children, parents, they want the best for us. But they don't always have the best way to do the best intention that they have. And people being people, we tend to repeat behavior that we see in others.
I hear you.
So like how our parents raised us is probably how their parents raised them, our grandparents, and how our grandparents are raised is basically their parents, our forefathers.
Yeah.
Okay, so because of that, it's like monkey see, monkey do, ended up we all become monkeys. Yeah,
correct.
Now, from my experience, I have parents who come to me for help with their kids, with their children, and usually it's teenagers. And initially when I first started off this career, I have this wrong idea about myself. Okay.
Oh, tell us about
it. The wrong idea is that, hey, I have this NLP skill, it's so powerful, I can change everything. I forgot my name is not Look God. All right. At that time, I thought I was. Until I got humbled, and then I realized that what you say is so true. We all have this psychology. We all have this thinking. People go through problems. One size doesn't fit all. Okay. And what a lot of people don't realize is that, especially when it comes to parenting and children, the problem is not with the children. Okay, let me describe it this way. Okay, so there was a parent who come to me and says, "Look, can you help me with my kids?" And the first time I was doing that, I went straight with the kids and I started communicating with the kid. And my first impression of the kid is like, if I have a son, I want my son to be like him too. Okay.
Wow.
And that's strange, all right? But to the parent was like, "No, something wrong with my son," and things like that. And then I began to realize is whenever we have problem with the children, it's not the children, it's the parents.
Wow.
Okay, it's always the parents. So what happens now is that I always believe that children are the fruit, parents are the tree, the roots.
I see.
Okay. And by looking at the fruits, which are the children, you can tell a lot about how the parenting is done and all that. So now what I do is, if parents bring their children to me, the way I do it is like, okay, I'll talk to your son or daughter later. I want to talk to you first.
Wow, you set them up first to get to understand them.
Yes,
okay. Because when you mentioned just now that it's always the parents is the issue, is not the kids. I believe a lot of parents will struck a nerve a little bit. And it's not intentional to actually hurt anyone's feeling. But this is the thing. The reality is, right, a child is a byproduct of your parenting. So what happens is that sometimes certain things that happen in your child, it could be originated from us, the adults.
Unconsciously.
So if we are open enough to be able to look into this, we will have the capabilities to do something about it. But for some people, because it's such a to-your-face statement, it's not your child's fault, it's your fault, it hurts your feeling. And if you were to allow that to hurt your feeling, it will hurt your relationship with your family. So for those of you that, if it does hurt your feelings, I applaud you to calm down, to allow yourself to be open, because think about it this way. If your child can make mistakes, give them a chance. You can make mistakes as well as an adult, and give yourself a chance to make those mistakes and learn from it. So you mentioned that most of the time the parents are the potential cause of it. And what do you do after that, noticing this, that parents are the cause? What do you do to help them overcome it?
Let me give you this one example first. This one happened about 2 years ago. So a distraught mother came asking for help with her daughter. Because she says that her daughter has got serious depression. I spoke to the daughter. The daughter has no depression. The daughter is very normal. Then after talking to her, I was like, okay, you wait outside. Let me talk to your mom. And that's when I found out that the problem is with the mother. Now the mother disapproves of the daughter's certain behavior. But you have to remember, the daughter now has just finished her SPM and she has gotten a result, and she is going to study on her own already.
I see.
So the
she's
mother
becoming an adult.
And the mother is not willing and not ready to let go. And the mother becomes so stressed by that. So now the mother needs help to quote unquote change the daughter. Here is the funny thing that happened. The daughter is about to leave the home from Miri to come to KL to study. I asked the mother, all right, so when is she leaving? Oh, she is leaving next Monday. And it's Saturday. All right? And it's Saturday. So to me, I was like, you should have done that maybe 6 months before this, so we can have things to program it. So now I know I have to work with the mother. And this is exactly what happened. I told her, okay, ma'am, you're number one, you should have come earlier. All right? But since this is as it is, let's work with this. You see, your daughter will leave to study on her own. She will live on her own. true, right? And she says, yes. And you have been her age before. You have been that age before whereby we just want to try things, we want to be rebellious. And at that time, we probably did crazy things.
Correct. And that could be the reason why some parents are fearful, because it's like, I've done some
memories.
silly stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think my child can go through that. I don't want him to go through that.
That's right. So ended up, people overcompensate and become too controlling.
Yeah.
To the point whereby you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. Now, I like to tell parents, imagine yourself back at that age, your parents were to say the same thing to you, what would you do?
What's your response like?
Yeah, you probably not be the, respond the way you want your child to
yes,
respond,
mommy,
right?
Thank you for your advice.
Correct. So the daughter says, I love my mom, but the way she is like controlling me like that, I suffocate. I can't talk to her. It's like I try to talk to her 2 sentences, I get scolded. It's like, what's the point? Okay. So I talked to the mother. I said, imagine for a moment that your daughter went through problem in her life while she is living in KL. Currently, the way your relationship is with your daughter, do you think she will turn to you first?
Would you be the go-to person?
Yes.
What was her answer?
She couldn't answer me. She started crying. Okay. And then I asked her, would you want to be that go-to person?
I see.
She says yes. Okay. Then I asked her, so what would need to happen for you to be that go-to person? And in between sobs, she said that I need to rebuild the relationship fast. So what would be the fastest way for you to rebuild the relationship? And she stopped for a while. Okay. And then she says, maybe I apologize to her.
Wow.
Okay. So I asked, okay, let's try that, And what I got from her, the feedback later, was that she actually did that. She apologized for the behavior that she had. And the magic of an apology is that it melts all hearts. It melts all ice mountain. Yeah. And the daughter opened up and the daughter started to listen. And the daughter began to realize the mother is just over caring for her. Okay. You see, what I notice about parents is that we sometimes forgot that we have been children before. Okay. I always remind myself of that, especially like when I notice that I have 2 children. My son is 15 years old and my daughter is 8 years old this year, and sometimes they do things that I don't necessarily approve of. Okay, as a parent, as a serious adult, right? Okay, I probably feel like, nah, I wouldn't do it. But then another side of me would be like, would you say the same thing when you were 15? Okay, and that's how I put myself to the shoe whereby, sometimes I think we need to stop playing the role of a parent. Okay, now before you jump to the wrong conclusion, the audience here, just want to tell you what I mean by that.
Okay.
Now, playing the role of a parent is like playing the role of a cop. You wear, okay, I'm a parent now, I'm serious, I'll do whatever it is necessary. But the moment you are no longer talking to your friend, you go out with your old schoolmate reunion, and then you are like monkey and things like that, right? Okay, people do that. I see people do that all the time. So I think what we need to do is sometimes we need to take the parenting business less seriously. Okay, less seriously to a point whereby we become authentic. We become real people.
That's a very powerful word, the word authentic, because sometimes people become the police officers not because they want to, because that's what they model their parents from. Because back in the day, being a strict, no-nonsense parent is what get the job done. And because we don't have any teachers that teach us how to be a parent, like when the child is born, it doesn't come in a manual to kind of like connect the dots of how do you manage your children.
That's right.
So what happens is you model your parents, you follow your parents' footsteps. Even though you might tell yourself, I will never be like my parent. I will be a better parent. But then automatically we tend to unconsciously do what they do. And that became a not authentic us, and we're doing it for the sake of what we think parenting is. And then when you mention about authentic, now this is the problem. Because when people say authentic, a lot of people straight away in their mind is like, oh, become the nice parent, the goody parent, which is not necessarily what you mean.
No.
It's not necessarily about like giving your child whatever they want, giving them no pain whatsoever because everything is protected in the bubble. Because that is the same problem from the other direction.
Yes, it's the opposite extreme,
Right.
A lot of people they have this idea that the world exists in extreme. Either you are a tiger mom or you are a Winnie the Pooh mom, right? Okay,
I love that.
The tiger mom, right? Either you are a tiger mom or you are a tiger mom. I think the whole world is actually the world has got 50 shades of gray, right? You have got all those different shades.
Correct.
And real life happens in all the different shades of gray. Okay, so you don't have black and white purely like that.
Yes.
What I mean by being authentic is to be willing and ready to admit that I can be wrong. Okay, I give birth to you, but it doesn't mean I have all the answers.
Doesn't mean you own the child.
Yes, that's right. I don't have all the answers. Yep. I can screw up as well.
That's right.
Okay, but when I screw up, I am humble enough to apologize. And that is something that I think we can teach it to our younger generation, our children. Now, why I say that? Yeah, you see, to me, I find that a lot of parents struggle with this because we have issues with our life, like what Webby mentioned just now. Yeah. You said something that really is really true, and that is, as parents, parents, sometimes we have this idea that I will never be like my mom, or I will never be like my dad, you know. But you notice, very often, the people who say that, they are just like their parents, but they don't realize it.
Correct.
Okay, and this is what we call as having daddy or mommy issues. Okay, and to compensate that, people overcompensate. So what happens then is, instead of not wanting to be like their parent, they ended up becoming like their parent and even more than that. All right, so their parents is, let's say, fierce. They are 10 times even more fierce. Okay, but they refuse to acknowledge that I'm actually doing that.
Correct.
And the source of all that is actually a wounded inner child. Okay, the inner child who has been wounded, it has not been taken care of, and as a result of that, it pops up in ways that is like unexpected.
Especially with family.
Yes.
Because the inner child's idea is, it comes from the point where every one of us have our very safe person, our self inside of us.
Yes.
And we have an exterior, like an onion, where we have many layers that protects us from the world. From negative people, from people that you trust or don't trust, and so on and so forth. So what happens is, when that inner person usually only comes out to the most people that you can trust, people that you're most vulnerable to, and usually it's family. And a lot of times it erupts during the time when they are very emotional, and usually this happens when parents are in emotional conflict with their family. And the reason why is because most of the time this happens is not because something bad happened. It's something that was potentially dangerous, and the parents' first instinct is to protect what they love.
Yes.
And when parents want to protect what they love, they put themselves on a stage where they need to do whatever it takes. That's the part where the brain shuts off and the heart comes out. That's why a lot of parents, they will run into burning buildings. They would stand in front of a car when the car is about to have a crash to protect what they love, which is their children. Because it's not about the brain, it's about the heart. But sometimes if the heart is not aligned properly, the action that comes out could create more harm than good. And this is very powerful because this alignment is not as easy as go to a mechanic and then they do a machine and then align the tires that you have with the car. It's actually more deeper than that. And different people have different levels and depths. So that's where you come in. You do a very amazing job to help people open up their layers and then allowing themselves to realign themselves. And in a way, when they focus on the root problem, which is the alignment, they allow themselves to see a difference in their actions. Something that you do that's so amazing is because many times parents, they get very frustrated, very angry when they're dealing with their kids. And it's not because their kids are lousy or anything. Like you mentioned, when you see the kid, it's like, I want my child to be like him. But to the parents, like, no lah, this fella, so this fun lah. Make me want to lose my hair.
Vomit blood.
Vomit blood. Make me all veins all pop out. And the reason why is because you care so much.
True.
The only problem is, right, when you're in such a level of high intensity of emotions, you tend to forget about the logic or rationale, and you can't think straight. So maybe what we can do is, like, so many things. I work with so many parents. That is the most common problem when they deal with family, with their kids. So would you mind sharing, like, maybe 1 or 2 tips that parents can take? Because I know it firsthand, not just from the child parent talk to me, but even as an adult, it happens. Like, parents, if you have the great luck to have your parents still alive, and your parents might be way wiser right now, but you will notice something, that they will treat you a bit harsher than how they treat other people.
No, they will treat you a bit harsher than how they would treat your children.
Your children, you will see your parents taking care of their grandkids like angels.
Yeah.
But they will still treat you like, ugh. And you'll be like, what's wrong with these people? And it's the same thing. So it's not a matter of like they don't love you. Actually, they love you more.
Yep.
The thing is, right, there's no alignment here. So how because one of the things that I really admire about Luke is Luke has this ability not just to help people, but he's proven it from himself. He walks the talk. He has the ability to not react, but to respond. React in a sense like when something happens, will react to it. Positive, negative doesn't matter. But Luke has this ability where he can calmly, at a quick instant, will process it, balance out what is actually good, what's bad, what kind of action to go and take, and do it. And to the point that he's effective not just to people that he works with, but with his family as well. And it's something that I really admire, and I think that more parents can definitely benefit and would love to be able to do what you do. Even starting with a small step forward.
Yep.
Well, how do you share with that?
Sure. So first, of course, is that the force is with me. Oh, no, just joking. All right. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Actually, it takes training. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the easier it is. Now, before Webster knows me, and that was actually how I come into NLP in the first place. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to be someone who is like, really narrow-minded in a point whereby if something bad were to happen, even if it's a small one, I would tend to like overreact.
Okay.
I would really like, why me? It's like, when I'm rational, I was like, come on, it's just a small matter.
Yes.
But when it happened to me, I was that guy.
You used to be a blamer then.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So much so to a point that one day my wife actually can't take it anymore, and then she just talked to me. She pointed her finger at me and she says, "Why are you like so?" Okay, in Chinese it's called 钻牛角尖, 金牛角尖, in Cantonese, yeah? Which means like the horn of the buffalo is so small. Why are you trying to squeeze through? All right. So that like stunned me. It's like I never realized that.
Okay.
Then that's when I went to attend Tony Robbins' UPW, and then for the first time in my life I realized that I have a lot of unwanted programming in me growing up. I've seen a lot of things, a lot of hardships and all that. All of those have left scars in me.
I see.
Okay. But the beauty of it is now I am able to learn a technology that allows me to reprogram it.
I see.
Okay. But it still requires me to reprogram it. It's not like, it's like suddenly I'm changed just like that.
Refresh. It's like motivation. It takes every day. Even
Correct.
clothing.
Correct.
You just can't wear it once and forever be clean.
Yes.
You need to wash it every now and then.
That's right. That's right. So what are some of the things that really helped me turn it around is, number one, I begin to realize that whenever you are angry, just shut up. Okay, don't talk. Whenever I was angry, whenever I feel angry, I know that the things that come up from my mouth, it will be harder to erase it if it has already come out. Okay, so when I'm angry, I would tell my wife, I would tell anyone I know that I'm not in the right frame of mind to discuss this right now. Give me 5 minutes, and then I clear myself up, and then I move into it. Okay. Now that is the starting of the training. Now why I say starting of the training is because once you do something and you do it often enough, after a while you don't have to think anymore. It becomes second nature to you. Okay. Now some people think, all right, look, you are an NLP master, you train people to be certified practitioners and all that. Does that mean that you never get down, you never get frustrated, you never lose your temper and all that? No, I do. I'm a human being.
Oh, for sure.
I'm a human being. The only thing that I think would be different is because all the years of training that I put myself through, the period for me to like go from angry to calmness and resourcefulness is like so fast. Okay, so because why I allow myself to experience that frustration, anger, and all that, I don't suppress.
Okay,
you see, whatever you resist will always persist. Okay, what you resist will always persist. So if you are angry and you try to tell yourself like, I shouldn't be angry, I cannot be angry, angry is negative, angry is not good. Now what you are essentially doing, right, is you are like suppressing it. And just like a pressure cooker, the more you suppress it, it will have to find an outlet. And life being life, it will usually surprise you. The outlet will be where it is least expected and least welcome. Okay, and then people go into that negative downward spiral where they blame themselves. I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have done that. how could it be like this? And it goes worse and worse and worse. So I think, right, the first thing that anyone can do, can start, especially parenting, if you are angry, right, don't parent when you are angry. Don't talk when you are angry. You know, I think it is easier to just tell someone that, look, I'm not in the right frame of mind right now, and I want to calm down first, and then we talk about it. Is it okay?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And I will tell you, whoever it is that you are talking to, they appreciate that. Because why? They also don't want to be shouted by you, right?
Yeah, no one expects to get scolded. But you know what's the funny thing? It's like it usually when people get angry, right, that's the moment where they don't remember tips like this. And then that's one of the things where I gave tips to some of my families, because a lot of families that I work with, they also admit to the same sins that they run, which is when they get upset and they parent,
like
and then they get the worst results, and they know two things will happen. Either they know that that's the wrong thing and they get, like, you know, a bit guilty feeling like that, and then sometimes they overcompensate. And then on the other hand, they justify. They justify the thing that they say that might be bad to be the right thing to do, which makes the relationship become bad to worse.
True.
So what happened is, one of the things that I got them to realize is this particular formula that was, if I'm not mistaken, was created by Stephen Covey, if I'm not mistaken. It's called E plus R equals to O. Tony Robbins uses it as well, but in a slightly different context. But I noticed that the most simple way to put it is the events plus the way you choose to respond will equal the outcome. So the event is something that you can never control, something that you will never be able to predict. It will just happen. The response, on the other hand, is something that you can control. And how well you control the response will then show up in the outcome that happens. So let's say, for example, your child didn't do their homework after you reminded them a million times. And as a parent, you went out to work, you did your responsibility, you came back, you're tired, you got scolded by your clients, everything that's bad has happened. And you see your child not doing the one thing that they can do to take care of their own self, not even you, take care of themselves. You get upset. And when you're upset, the response, the event they didn't finish, the response is sometimes they'll just, boy, why you so lousy, all the unnice savory words comes out. And then the child, rather than being appreciative, the child will not come up to you and say, Papa, you care for me so much. I'm so motivated because you scold me. Never happened.
Because we ourselves also won't do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And as an outcome of it is the child doesn't like you, they don't like themselves, you don't like you, and you don't like the situation. No wins. So imagine if you were to calm yourself, just like hold yourself. And one thing that I told my parents to help them remind themselves is to write this formula, E plus I equals to O, on a post-it note and paste it wherever they know they got angry before. Because life leaves patterns. So whenever they notice they always got angry and they notice it's a common ground, I ask them to put it somewhere where it's eye level. So anytime that they are there and something happens and they catch a glimpse of the word, they're going to give themselves 5 seconds to take a deep breath and like, okay, E plus I equals O, my response. I'm going to regret what I'm going to say, so stop.
Yes. And I think what Webster mentioned just now is something that in NLP we call it as an anchor. An anchor basically just means it's a trigger, okay? And you know, trigger happens all around us, right? So like, for example, I want you to imagine right now that you have a really beautiful day, okay? You are doing things, and as you are working, you are having a great day, suddenly you heard a music from the background. You know, isn't it true that sometimes we begin to experience, like suddenly we feel sad for no reason, or suddenly we feel heaviness, but it's like, come on, it's like just a moment ago I was feeling totally great. It's like, but how come suddenly I heard that song and suddenly memories are triggered, coming back instantly? Now those are what we call as the emotional triggers. And this is where we can use emotional trigger to start training yourself so that you can remain calm when you are experiencing the storm in life, okay? Like in parenting. Now, this is a thing that I would like to share with you how you can do it. I'll share with the viewers here. Use pain. All right, use pain. Now, let me share with you how I use this on myself. You see, as a trainer, I tell a lot of stories because stories are the tools that teach a lesson. But I also have something that I think I'll tell everyone now is that I cry very easily. Okay?
I didn't know that.
I cry very easily. And you know, there's this cartoon, right? Sing It, I think. Sing It is a cartoon where all the cute animals, they want to sing a song. Sing It. I cried that one as well.
Okay.
All right.
Very emotional then.
Yeah. It's like I cry very easily. And can you imagine, like, when I'm when I'm telling a very touching story, which is meant to inspire the audience, halfway through I can't continue because I'm crying. All right, so it's like it doesn't make sense because it spoiled the whole experience, right?
Okay.
So one time it happened, okay, I thought maybe it's just I was just emotional then, but it happens so often, right? Then I begin to realize it's a problem, it's a pattern, and I need to reprogram it. So I use this technique. Now what I did was, every time when I tell the story, you see, your body will always give you clues. You will always know when you are about to lose it. Okay, your body never lies, yeah? Your body will always give you clues. Now, I know there are some people who say, right, no, when it comes, you know, like anger, right? Nah, bullshit. All right, no, that's not true. Your body will always give you clues. Like for example, just before you are angry, isn't it true that for some people you feel your face becomes very hot? Okay, or for some people your ear becomes the burning sensation.
Yes, correct.
Or some people you feel like your chest is about to explode. Now those are your body telling you are about to go into anger.
I see.
Okay,
the physiology kind of
yes,
thing.
that's right. Your body never lies. Your body will always tell you that.
Yeah.
So for me, my sign is I begin to feel like choking here. Just before I cry, it's like suddenly I can't tell the story anymore. It's not coughing or anything. It just feels like suddenly, and the heaviness inside.
Okay.
So before, the next thing that you know is the tear will start to come out already, right?
Okay.
So I start to train myself. I take my hand, I put it into my pants pockets, and what I did is on my thigh, I just pinch it. Okay, I just pinch it.
Well, talk about pain.
Yes, that's right. That's how you use pain to create a trigger for yourself, right? So I pinch it. Initially, I'll tell you, it's painful, right? But the thing here is because it's so painful, the tear stops.
I see.
Okay, so I did it a few times. Every time it gets easier, every time it gets faster. So now, whenever I tell a story and I feel like the tear is about to come, all of a sudden it just stops. Because why? I don't even have to go and pinch anymore because suddenly the thought that comes out is a pinching.
I see. So it programmed there.
Yes.
Wow.
That's right. So how do we incorporate this for parents so that you don't lose your cool when you are parenting?
Because pinching, then they will have a lot of marks all around the body, so it's not a good idea for
Pinch your hand. Just before you are about to lose it out. Okay, I feel better now. All right? Yes. Okay. It looks crazy, I know, but the thing here is that isn't it true that a lot of the problems people experience in their life, it's not logical, right? A lot of problems that people have in their psychology, it's not logical, it's illogical, it's crazy. So doesn't it make sense to have a crazy method to overcome all that?
You're absolutely right, because so many times people think about like, hey, when you're upset, when you're getting upset, just take deep breath, Aren't you sick and tired of hearing that advice? And the reason why is because it doesn't work. Because you're not extreme enough. Because at extreme moments, you need extreme outlets.
That's right.
So what happens is like if breathing doesn't work for you, do something else. Don't give up, because if something doesn't work, you need to find a different way to solve it. If not, you're going to be a victim of your own consequences here. So what happened is, if you are okay with the breathing, power on you.
Continue doing that.
But if not, maybe you want to try this painting. Like for me, I don't actually pinch my hand. I actually take my thumb and pointing finger and I put in between this particular part. Because what happened is, right, in your hands and your feet, there's a lot of nerves.
Yes.
And if you go to Chinese medicine, they will focus that there's certain nerves, right, that like it reacts with your body. So what happened is, right, when people get upset, usually it's also like a head pulping thing. It's like headaches and all that. So what I do is, usually if you have headaches, you can either massage your ear, earlobes, or in between
over
this
here.
side. So what happened is, when I'm really upset or when I'm getting frustrated and I'm getting tense, usually it's because my brain can't process it enough. Because when you can't process it enough, that's where you go haywire. For me. So what I do is I'll take my thumb, my hand, and I'll pinch in between this area. And when I pinch this area, I'll give it a few moments, and I feel like a massage feel, and that massage feel makes me feel relaxed. It's the opposite of pain. It gives me pleasure. It gives me relax. So because people are motivated with either something that's painful that they need to change, or something that's pleasurable that they want to get towards. So it's a very powerful emotional drive, we will call it. And Luke will share pain because it's one of the fastest way to get results. And the beautiful thing is, I think, Luke, you agree with me that there is no one way to fix everyone, and that's why it's like we want you to try. We need you to test it out.
That's right.
And sometimes, of course, you can test it out and see the results. It will be even better and even faster of the learning curve and duration when you have someone to observe something that you don't see. Because you won't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And this brings me up to a story, and you inspired me to share. This story is something that I did not plan to share, and it's something that I don't plan to share to public, but you shared something that's very powerful, and I think it's very important to share out over here, because the topic this week is on how parents can parent in a way that's more nurturing than rather than helping, that focus on helping, not sabotaging, and is to focus on responding effectively, not reacting.
That's right.
So because the reason why this story evolves around a mother and son that I work with.
Okay.
Mom's a single mom taking care of the son. The reason why she came up to me is for two reasons. The number one why she looked for me is because the son is like really bad in his school.
Okay.
Exams are really horrible. And she was concerned. And I was like, oh, okay, that's like normal cases to me. But then when I met the son, then I realized something different. Something that she did not mention when we first met.
Okay.
And the thing that she did not mention is the son is violent.
Oh.
This is a 10-year-old young man.
Okay.
And there are cases where he got so furious.
Okay.
He grabs a chopper, the ones that, those meat cleavers, the one that people use to cut chicken and meat.
Yes.
He grabs that and chases the mother around with that.
Oh, okay.
Now, I work with a lot of cases where, children go through like depression, they go through suicidal thoughts and all that. This is a very different modality, different set of consequences. And I'm like, this is dangerous.
Yep.
And the mom has sent the child to psychologists, psychiatrists, been in and out of medications, and there's nothing that was working. And when I got to understand this, it's like, okay, my expertise, even though my background is in psychology and I focus on more applied psychology, I may not be the one that's fully equipped for him. But then again, after chatting with him, I noticed that he's not naturally a violent person. It's just that whenever he gets tipped off,
the
anchor, it is mom. And the mom is not a violent person. She's the total opposite. She's the most caring, forgiving, and like docile person ever. She is not violent. But when I started asking and using like questioning and trying to find out where did this come from, it's the father. When they were going through divorce, the dad was very hot-tempered, was abusing alcohol, and when he's not in his senses, he tend to demonstrate violent tendencies,
physical violence.
And this is when the child was like at a tender age, like 4 years old, 5 years old. He doesn't really understand much, but all he did is observe. And what happened was when the mom decided to leave for the sake of the son, at that stage the son was get upset because why are you taking that away from me? And unknowingly he started to also demonstrate that type of behavior. And that's where the mom came over, and what I focused on is he is lacking something. He is like a bowl. It's like there is something missing, and there's no way he will feel great if something is not filled up. So even though the mom loves him to bits, the amount of love she's giving, it doesn't fill up that bowl.
True.
Because love language explains that different people give love and different people accept love.
Correct.
And for the son, what he was lacking is the ability to feel capable. And the reason why is because he felt it was one of the reasons that they left or the family broke was because of him. And he felt like even worse is when he didn't do well in school, when he got angry and then he didn't get good results, didn't focus, he was like the reason. And he felt bad for his mom. It's just that he doesn't know how to react. So what happened was we needed to do two things, and two things changed this boy's life. The very first thing is I focused on him learning how to learn. Now, I needed him to see that he's capable. So many times when I work with students feel like they're useless. And it is so far from the truth. The reality is they are amazing. They are talented and super intelligent. Genetically, every generation of children born is 25% more intelligent than their parents. The problem is they just don't know how to use it.
True.
So that's why one of my number one goal is I teach students how to learn. And that's why I use the strategy called turbocharged learning. It is not about how fancy the skill is, more about how effective the skill will work for them. It's all about personalization.
Okay.
And I allow the child to start doing challenges that the child could not do on his own before. And he starts seeing that he can start like picking up good information, start understanding facts, and he can actually start answering questions. And he had this like eyes with sparkles coming out. I was like, oh my God, I'm so smart. I never knew. And because of that, he allowed himself to explore other things, to explore the part of recognizing his behavior when he is angry. Because prior to that, he was never going to open up quietly with his psychiatrists and psychologists because there was a barrier. So, number one, got him to feel good about himself, and then he gave himself permission to open up. And then, with the parent being there, communicating about it, and then we realized that he just needed an outlet to feel good and at the same time to release energy. And the mom and him discovered that one of the best things to do for them is to go swimming classes.
That's where they can do bonding together and all that.
So the mom learned how to swim, the son learned how to swim. They went through the classes exactly at the same time. The mom needed time to come out of work as well, because a single mom working, sometimes there's no time for family. So doing this was an amazing time together. And this young man, not only did he get to swim and use a lot of energy, he started to use that energy to good use. He became a swimmer. To the point that he is one of the youngest people I've seen that has a six-pack abs.
Oh, wow.
Amazing young man. and he represented his state, he got medals, and to the point that he built this new self-confidence in him that he's now protecting his mom. And what we realize is very, very close to what you mentioned, is like being able to anchor yourself to not do what you should not be doing. And the point is, it's no longer the parent issue, it's the child. But this is the thing. Imagine your child is doing something that might be not approving to you, might be negative, a behavior that is not good. And if you were to react, that child may not have the chance to improve it. Because your child is not the matured one to be able to stop, think, and process yet. It is you, the parent, the adult.
That's right. That's right.
We need your help as parents. We need to be the one responsible, to be the one that can stop, process the information, and then come up with the best solutions. And sometimes it's about communicating. Yes, I'm not saying it's an easy job. I'm not saying that it's all rainbows and sunshines. It's going to be
it's not.
There are going to be some high volumes here and there.
But
the most important thing is you do it at the best capability that you can. Now, the reason why I'm saying it's important to have a third party sometimes is I was lucky to be able to notice certain things that the mom and son could not notice.
True.
And the reason why is because I'm standing on a position that is blinded on their side. It's a blind spot.
It's a blind spot.
You won't know what you don't know. And that's why sometimes it's very important to find someone that you can trust and someone that you know has sets of skills that can actually observe this. And more importantly, someone that you know that you can allow yourself to be vulnerable with. To me, the people that I would choose would be people like my family, people that I work with. If can, I would say Luke as well, because Luke, if I had the opportunity, if I was a child again, I would wish Luke was in my family as well. A lot of things would be different. But of course, I can't change back time. But I can do something about other people's lives. And that's the reason why I'm so excited about having Luke in the video. Because Luke has a special set of skills that focuses on helping people program what they want in life. To have more of what you want and to be able to control and manage the things that you don't want. There is no guarantee that there will be no bad things that happen. Every event, there will be positive and negative. But the way you can respond to it and the way you can react to it, very different. It will give you a totally different outcome.
Actually, the whole thing is like nowadays the buzzword is resilience.
Grit.
What exactly is grit and resilience? You see, some people they have this idea that being resilient here means that, or having grit is that bad things don't happen anymore. All right? No, it's not that. I want to give you an example. Let's say you go to the gym, you work out for the very first time. So, if you have never been to the gym before and you were to carry a dumbbell, let's say 2.5 kilogram dumbbell, you'll probably be struggling already. Okay. But if you consistently go and do it, next thing you know is like, maybe 3 months later, 2.5 kilo is like peanuts. Okay. And not only that, maybe 10 kilogram to you is like, okay, no problem, right? So the thing here is this, resilience is not about there's no more problem, but resilience is about suddenly the problem becomes, what problem? It's like I have the capability, I have the resources to deal with it and to handle it.
That's right.
So same thing with parenting as well. I firmly believe that as parents, number one, you are not alone. Okay, don't ever think that you are doing it alone, because there are a lot of parents who are going through the same struggle as well.
For sure.
Okay, And one of the things that I always find a lot of people feel trapped in is that whenever they go through a problem, they always feel like they are the one with that unique special problem. Whereas in reality, there are other people who share the same problem as well.
Yes.
And I don't want to come across as a broken record, but sometimes, right, other people's problems are bigger than ours. Isn't that true? All right. So when we begin to put things into perspective, then suddenly we begin to realize it's like, you know what? It's not as bad as I think it is. Problem is always worse here than outside. Okay? Problems is always worse in our own head, right? Same thing with being a parent. I think nowadays it's more difficult to be a parent than ever before.
For sure.
Okay? Because why? There are just too many influences.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So nowadays, children, they go through different phases. When our children were very young, right? Think back to your child when they were like 2 years old, 3 years old. You are the superhero. Okay? Once they go to the school, you are no longer the superhero. The teacher is the superhero. And then they go to secondary school. Suddenly, even the teacher is no longer the superhero. The friends are the superhero. But then they go into like 30 years old, 40 years old, and then begin to realize it's like, you know what? I should have listened to mom and dad more. I think this is something that human beings we go through. That is life, okay? That is life, right?
That's for sure.
So back to today's topic that we talk about, like how to become a more calm parent and things like that, right? It's to, number one, I think, is to always remind ourselves that we are not perfect. We don't have to be perfect, okay? We don't have to be perfect. Now, I totally don't subscribe to the idea like you are not your son's parent or you're not your daughter's parent, you are their best friend. I totally don't agree in that, yeah? Because for us parents, right, besides the role of being a parent, we are also like a friend, a confidant to our kids, okay? So, in other words, we are that role as a parent plus a few other roles as well, okay? And here's the thing. You don't have to get it right all the time. All right. You don't have to pressure yourself. I have to get it right because why? If I don't do this now, then down the road the person will go to jail. No, it's not that bad. I always remind myself that our kids are more resilient than we give them credit for.
Correct.
Okay. And one of the biggest problem that 21st century parenting we face is like we try to solve all our children's problem for them before they even happen.
That's a sin. That's a big sin.
Yeah, and as a result of that, then when problems do happen, because we know life problems do happen, they don't have that inner resilience and strength to handle it. And that's why you see a lot of like depression going on, suicidal thoughts going on, anxiety going on. And the reason is because during the phase of growing up, they have everything taken care of by their parents.
Correct.
So as parents, I think one of the key challenges is use every moment as a teaching moment, all right? As a teaching moment.
A growing moment.
Yes, that's
because
right.
There is no right and wrong. There is no best or even better way.
Yeah.
Because by the end of the day, the message that you're giving that I think is so important is, parents, one day you will die. You will leave this earth and your children will not have you. They will not have you to protect them. They will not have you to take care of them. They won't have you to do what you've been doing for them. That's why it's so important right now for you to do what is right, not what is easy. To do what is important, not what is beautiful for them. Because by the end of the day, your action will challenge them or train them to be the person that they're going to live without you.
Yep.
So one of the powerful things is like they need to fail. They need to make mistakes. They have to be comfortable being independent.
Yeah.
And parents, the reason why you're upset is because you're concerned and you love them. And every now and then, don't use that love to sabotage this relationship, to sabotage the teaching moments that you can give them.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the whole reason why we're having this video.
Yeah.
Because when you can control your emotions, when you're calmer, your ability to help teach them or your ability to help them realize and learn, and then you learn at the same time, only serves to make the family grow stronger together and move forward together. Because it will come to a day that you will ask yourself, am I comfortable going away now, seeing my child, or am I not?
Yep.
And if the answer is not, for the reason that you know that you didn't train them well enough, that's going to be very scary.
Yeah, and it's also something that I think as a parent myself is like, it can be something that causes me to not be able to sleep at night. It's like, have I done enough? Have I done enough? But it's not all doom and gloom though, right? It's not all doom and gloom. I think like back to what I said earlier, it's like you know, parenting is a journey. No one taught us how to be a parent. You can read all the books and all that. And the funny thing about books is that the first book will tell you this, and the second book will tell you that's wrong.
The whole contradiction.
Yeah, it will tell you that's wrong, you know.
Yes.
So parenting is all about a journey. And the thing about a journey is that you want to learn along the way as well. And one more tip, I think, before we finish everything here, is that for me, right, I know, I won't say I know this as a right thing, but to me personally, my children are not my priority. Okay, my children are not my priority. Who or what is my priority? My relationship with my wife. Okay, because why? Okay, to me, they are parents whereby they are single parents, sometimes by choice, sometimes not by choice, etc. But if you happen to be in a parent where you have a husband and a wife together, okay, and I know also whereby you have got, sometimes parents are separated, and both of them have joint custody and all that, all right? Our children, whether or not they will grow up to find someone who will honor them, cherish them, you know, be their life partner, it is very much a mirror to us as their parents, okay? So, like for example, if let's say you are a husband, okay, you are a man of the house, and you take good care of your wife, you really respect her and all that, you are sending a very powerful message to your daughter to look for the type of man that is going to take care of her, that is going to cherish her, that is going to protect her one day, okay? And same thing like you mentioned just now, the example of the boy who is very not rebellious, but very violent, yeah? Children learn without learning. That's the scary part, all right? I call it as learning without learning, yeah? It's as if they are just soaking everything in and they will just behave without thinking and all that, right? So that is why, to me, I find that when I take care of my wife, when I take care of our marriage first, it makes parenting become easier, okay? And it really creates that kind of an impact when it becomes easier for parenting to happen. Okay, and I find that a lot of parenting whereby they have got strain with their children and all that, right? I'm willing to bet money on the table that if let's say we explore more, chances are there are issues between the husband and the wife as well. Okay, so that is something that, you know, if you are a young parent, if you are very newly married and all that, right? I would strongly encourage you to spend more time to build a relationship with your spouse. Okay, because at the end of the day, your child will mirror it and learn without learning. Okay, that's extremely important. I think I really want to share on that.
I think that's a very powerful thing. I don't think much people or much experts share about how parents' relationship with one another will react to us, the kids. And most of the time, they'll just like blame. It's like, oh, you're together, not together, that's all.
Yes.
And but at the end of the day, a lot of parents, there's a lot of research that's going into this, where parents should not put their child as on a pedestal. The child should not be the main priority, because when you start putting them on the main priority, you start to screw up other parts in your life.
Yes.
So it's not balanced. And it's not that you should not love your kids or should not take care of them. It's all about balance.
Yeah. Remember I mentioned earlier, life is not about extreme.
Yeah.
Just because I say that I don't put my kids as the main priority, it doesn't mean I put them right at the bottom of the priority. It's not that.
And that's important news for people to realize, because sometimes people don't notice it. And the reality is this is about the balance. Because yes, you love your kids, but you have to show them how to love other people as well, like your wife and husband, your parents as well. So they model you.
Correct.
And one of the things that I'm so happy that in this video we were able to pick up so much information, and you can model that as well. You don't necessarily need to follow exactly the words that we use. Use it in your context.
Yes.
The most important thing is utilize the gems that you pick up from today's video, apply it. And I'd love to hear what kind of reactions or results that you get from experimenting maybe one or two of these ideas.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Please share in the comment part. And more importantly is, like, if you have questions that like you want to ask Luke or myself regarding this particular topic, feel free to put it in the comment below. We'll go through them, and if you would like to see Luke on another segment of the video, put it down in the comment. You know what? Great questions. We'll definitely want to answer them. And that will give me good excuse to either get him to KL or I'll fly to Miri just to do the video for you guys.
Then
that'd be so cool.
we can have Kolomi in
Oh my god, Kolomi is amazing. The family is amazing too. They've actually treated me last time to a very unique type of durian, like wild durian. That was amazing. It's a memory that I remember till today. And yeah, so if you have any questions, comments or anything, just put it down in the comment section below. And you can also get directly connected to Luke, we'll put Luke's contact details, more especially his website, in the link below. So if you want to get direct contact and access to Luke, go to the link below and contact him directly.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if you have enjoyed the video so far, remember to like. If you have not, subscribe to the video for more videos like this coming up soon. Now, guys, please, any last words before we say goodbye?
Okay. I think very importantly is that at the end of everything, right? Most important one is take care of yourself first. Okay. Be gentle to yourself. There's no need to be too hard on yourself. We all make mistakes. Okay. But every time when you make mistake, treat yourself with gentle care, because when you do that, you are actually taking care of your inner child. Okay, your inner child, especially if you are going through a lot, you are struggling, you are in pain and all that, it just points to the fact that you need to take care of yourself more. Okay, some people, they go for other things like drinking or smoking, because the idea is that if I do that, I forget all the pain. But you know what? After that is done, right? You go back to your room.
Reality.
Yeah, reality. When you're alone at night, it's still there. Okay, so the simplest thing that you can do to yourself today is take good care of yourself. Because when you take good care of yourself, then you become much more effective to those that you love.
Correct.
Okay, that is so important.
That is so true. Thank you. That's a very good last message. So guys, thank you so much for being with us this particular week. Remember, if you like it, share this video around. Sharing is caring. So guys, till next time, stay awesome.
All right, bye.